Hello, and welcome to the Yarning Over the Days podcast. This is episode 14. My name is Constance, and this is where I talk all about my knitting, sewing, and crochet adventures. I want to thank any new and returning viewers for taking the time out of your day to see what I have to say in my crafty endeavors. You can find me on Instagram and also Ravelry as cleocmc, that's CLEOCMC, and I also have a blog, yarningoverthedays.wordpress.com, and that is where I keep the show notes. So without further ado, let's get started. So I have a few finished projects that I want to share with you today, and we'll begin first with a knitting project. And I finished my boardwalk blouse, and this is of the Pink Ladies collection by Amy Apple, and it is this pattern here, which is so lovely. As soon as Amy released it a few weeks ago, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I immediately was drawn to it. I like the vintage flair of it, and it looked like a simple yet fun design, and I really like stripes, and they just called to me. So I finished it, and here it is. As you can see, it has a really simple shape, really lovely design. I love I think this is called the slash neck. I don't know, I'm confused. I think that it has an option of a boat neck or a slash neck. So I think the boat neck comes in closer and the slash neck comes out further, and I went for the slash neck for my striped version, which I like quite a bit. And the yarn is Quince & Company Finch, and the colors are canvas, cream color, and lichen, which is this green color here. And overall, I'm just so happy with the finished project. I really enjoyed knitting the project. The process of it was very fun, and I'm also very pleased with the product also. And I'm so happy with the colors. Sarabi, stop that. Sorry. And I'm so happy with the colors. I, of course, love wearing green. And so even though I played with a lot of different color combinations from my stash yarn, I'm so happy that I went with the green and the cream color because it just fit into my wardrobe nicely. So Robbie, no. So I don't have much to say about it. It's a great pattern, I also think, for someone who wanted to try out their first garment, because it has some simple shaping, and then also the joining of the sleeves. It's not really, the joining of the shoulder is what I'm saying. It's very simple, and then you do a little edging around the armhole. So it's a very nice pattern, and it was very clear and easy to follow along with. And as I said, it was the perfect TV knitting project. I really enjoyed it. Kind of sad that it was over with, but I had to finish it quickly because first of all, I wanted to wear it, and second of all, I have some projects that have deadlines. Knitting project, so I had to get this off my needles. And so that is that, and I will insert a picture of myself wearing the boardwalk blouse here. So that's all I have to say about the pattern. I think I made a slight error when it came to decreasing near the end. Like I was off about one row, but I didn't let it bother me because, as you can see, it doesn't really mess with the shaping much, and it was just one row, and still I continued to decrease at an even pace, and so my stitch count still came out correctly, and I just think I wasn't paying attention in order to do that. But that's all I have to say about the boardwalk blouse. And so if anyone wanted to try out that pattern, it's a nice, fun, quick, stylish knit, and I really like it. So moving on to my next finished project. It's a sewing project, and I was talking about it in the last episode. I had quite a bit of it done in the last episode. I just needed to do the zipper, I think, and the hem, and so I did that. And that is Simplicity's New Look 6446. And I went for this view here, view D. And I simply went for that look because I wasn't sure how the culotte version would look on me, even though I may try it one day in the future. But I'm so happy I did go with version D. I think it's very flattering. And it's funny, I haven't worn it yet because this project is actually a part of, it's my garment for the outfit along, which is hosted by Andy of UntanglingKnots.com and also Lauren of Ladybird.com. And so I finished the garment portion of my outfit along, and that's my romper set here. And I'll just show it to you. If I can get it, okay. And here it is. It's hard to show it on camera. Therefore, I will insert a picture of myself wearing it here. And I need to get pictures of myself actually wearing the garment, which I'm sure that I probably did get pictures if I said I was going to insert it. So I need to get pictures of myself wearing the garment. I haven't actually worn it yet because I just have this thing in my mind that since it's a part of the outfit along, I want to finish my cardigan, my matching cardigan, before I wear it out. I don't know why I'm treating it like that, because I know that I'm going to wear it and with other combinations and in other manners. And I also really like the color and the scheme of this with the greens and then that taupe background and then also the corals, because I think it's going to transition well into the fall. Because I do like to wear, even though I don't own many shorts, I used to wear shorts with tights under them in the fall, and I really like that look. So I think that that would be really cute to wear some tights under this with like maybe a close fitting sweater top in the fall and winter, or even with the cardigan. And I was thinking that the Freya top from Tilly and the Buttons, Sewing with Knits book would look great under this. And so yes, I have plans to transition this from the summer into the fall. And what else can I say about it? I followed the pattern exactly as printed, well, almost exactly. When it came to the lining, I did not slip stitch it by hand. I know how to slip stitch by hand, but honestly, sometimes I just get lazy and I don't feel like doing it. And I like top stitching a lot because I like the look of it. If you can see, I don't know if it's in front, but I like the look of it. So I top stitched the lining into place by simply pinning the lining in place, and then I just went over and top stitched it. And so that's my inside. And this lining fabric, I believe it's cotton, but honestly, it was just in my stash. And so I've had this white cotton in my stash for a while, and I've just been using it to line garments, and it's been working out perfectly. So I didn't have any issues with this pattern. The only small gripe I have is that my shoulder strap is not perfectly within that little line there. It's coming inward a little bit, whereas this one is perfect. But that's the only gripe. And I was wondering if it was going to bother me a lot and if I was going to go back and fix it. But in the end, I just decided to let it go. And let me see. Oh yeah, my invisible zipper is not the best. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either, because you can see a bit of the orange peeping through. But overall, I'm really, really happy with the romper, and I cannot wait to wear it. I actually purchased a couple of pairs of the Cads, the collaboration of Cads with the Rifle Paper Company, because I just love the Rifle Paper Company. And I think that those Cads, they're like all white with this embroidered flower design on them, and it really closely reminds me of the flowers in this. And so I just think it's going to look so lovely together, and I'm looking forward to wearing it. And overall, I think that this is a great pattern, and the instructions were very clear, and it's pretty easy. So I do want to revisit it again in the future. I'm not sure if I want to just make another short set like this one in a solid color, or if I want to try out the culotte version. I'm not sure yet, and it's no rush. I just know I want to revisit it sometime in the future, but I'm not sure when. So that is it for Simplicity's new look 6446. Okay, so the last episode I was talking about Operation Matching Dresses with my niece Destiny, and a dress for me also. And so I wasn't sure. I thought I was going to be like sewing right up until the moment. I thought I would still be sewing the dresses even today on Sunday. But it worked out perfectly. When I got home from church last Sunday, I just decided to cut Destiny's fabric. I was in the mood for her dress, so I was in the mood for it. And so I just decided to cut the fabric. And then I ended up just kind of sewing on her dress after I got off work on a Monday and Tuesday. And if I'm not mistaken, I finished her dress on Tuesday, and I added the final embellishments to both of the dresses on, was it Saturday? No, on Friday. So I was well within my time frame and my deadline, and so I was really, really happy about that. Like, there was no pressure, there was no stress, and so I was able to relax. And the pattern that I used for my niece Destiny is Simplicity 8621, and I made the dress version. And as it says here, it's easy to sew. However, I was just having a really tough time sewing this, and I don't know if it was late. I mean, I don't go to bed ridiculously late, but maybe I was just tired. It was around 10 at night, and I was just making really silly mistakes. For example, you know how the instructions said when you're sewing the facing on, make sure not to catch the straps within the facing. And I proceeded to do just that. So I don't know what was going on. So I had to rip out all of my facing and pull the straps out. And then I had to redo the facing. But then, well, let me show you the dress actually. And I will have to share pictures of my niece wearing the dress later, because obviously I haven't given it to her yet. I'll be going home this week for the 4th of July. And so I'll try to get pictures of her in the dress, then, well, both of us with our matching dresses. And then I'll try to share those pictures. So this is the dress. And as you can see, I added just a little buttons. And I'll tell you about why I added that button in a second. And then I added rickrack, because I just think rickrack is so adorable. And I added it to the bottom also. And, oh yeah, I also added my little handmade with love tag. When I make garments for myself, I never add the tags. But when I make it for other people, I always add the tags. So, yes, as I was saying, I had to take out the facing and redo it because I had the straps caught in here. So then I pulled the straps out and I redid the facing. But for some reason, I don't even know how this happened, because I know I didn't pin it that way. But for some reason, the straps, let's see. You see, the straps are supposed to go here, of course, on the front and back. But they were on the side of the front and back. So it was kind of like here. And I don't know how that happened. And it happened on both sides. So I had to, again, undo the stitching at the facing and then reapply the straps. But then when I was looking at the straps, I noticed that one was kind of off. Like, it was angled funny and it was dipping funny. So I had to, like, at that point, I didn't want to take out the facing again, because that would have been a third time. And so I just hand stitched it on. It's not the cutest job, I'll see. So I had to, like, hand stitch it in place to straighten it. And I just, made it work. And then I just added the buttons, because first of all, they're cute. And then to cover up, even though I don't think you could tell that much, but to cover up my little hand stitching that I did over that strap. And overall, I hope the dress fits her. I'm concerned that it may be a little bit too big. But my mom said it's better for it to be too big so she could grow into it. And, well, I'll just confess, I tried the dress on. Okay, so this dress fits me. Okay, that's why I'm concerned that it's a little bit too big. And I know that I do have a small stature, but my niece is definitely shorter than me. But the dress fits me, and then it fits me with, like, some room to spare. And that's why I'm concerned that this will be too big for her. So I don't know. I just hope it looks cute on her, and I hope it works out perfectly. And if not, I mean, I guess she could grow into it. And so we'll see, you know. But I sent pictures to my niece Destiny. She loved it. She's just so sweet. She just said, I think it looks perfect. Because I was telling her, I was like, oh, I hope it's not too big. And she said, it looks perfect to me. So we will see, you know. I can only know the true fit of it when I get home. It would have been nice for my sister to send me the measurements, but I understand that she's busy and she just didn't have the time. And now in retrospect, I wonder if I should have made the size 10 or the size 12. Maybe I chose to make the size 14. My sister said that that would probably be a good size, but we'll see. And I hope that the fit is nice. But yes, other than that, it is an easy pattern and it is easy to sew. I'm not sure why I was encountering those silly mistakes. I think it was just late at night and my brain was just exhausted. But overall, I'm still happy with how the dress turned out. So that is Simplicity 8461, and I don't have any pictures to share right now. However, I probably will insert a picture of it on the hanger here. Okay, so next, let's move on to my dress of the matching dresses. And do I have the pattern? Oh, yes. And I just really am super pleased with how this turned out. I went with Cynthia Rowley. This is Simplicity 1873, and I went for version B. Now, for some reason, I usually look at the length of the dress when I would before I would make the dress to check the length, because I typically like for my dresses to be about 37.5 inches. I just think that's the perfect length. I just really like that length. It's like slightly below the knee and it looks good on my frame, but I didn't check. I was simply going off the pictures I saw on the internet of other people who made this pattern, and it seemed like it was hitting those creators in that spot. But when I made it, I noticed that it's a bit shorter than what I typically like. I mean, it's not like it's knee length, and it's not like it's too short. It's just that I wanted it to be longer. And if I had known that, or if I wouldn't have been so quick, I would have added definitely about 2 inches to the length of this pattern. But other than that, I think it's a great pattern, and I just love the high neckline so much. I actually like this neckline even more than Simplicity 2444, which, as you all know, I just love that pattern and that neckline, and I've made it 8 times. And I like the high necklines, first of all, just because I like high necklines, but then I also think I think it looks really great with my collared dickies under it, and so I'm definitely going to wear that a lot under this dress because it's just the perfect high neckline. And I wasn't going to add rickrack to my dress at first, but I had so much of it left over, and then I thought it'd be a nice touch. And I love the addition of the rickrack. I'm so happy I decided to add that. And yeah, I just added this simply to the waist. And then because I usually like to belt the waist of my dress, then I think that this is good because I don't have to worry about searching for a belt. Whenever I wear this dress, I can just throw it on, and this always has this kind of like defined waist. And so this was a lined bodice. Again, I did not slip stitch the bodice into place. I simply top stitched it just as I did with the New Look pattern. And was there anything else? Oh yes, this pattern has a lot of pleats. It's probably not showing up as much. I know I still have my markings on the dress and I need to get rid of those, but there were quite a few pleats in the front and in the back. And I just don't like the process of creating pleats. I mean, sometimes it's okay when it's like a few, but this felt like a lot. And just putting the pleats in, then I actually, like, sometimes whenever I would do the Simplicity 2444 pattern, I really don't mind the pleats because it's not that many, and then I'll just simply baste it into place. But for some reason, I just decided to follow the instructions, and I don't know, maybe because I wanted to make sure I did everything correctly. And they suggested like basting the fold of the pleats in place, then going back and basting across the I'll say the top portion of the skirt to keep the pleats in place. Then of course, once I basted them, how did it go? Yeah, once I basted the stitches in place on the fold, then I ironed those. Then I basted along the waistline or the top of the skirt. And then I, of course, had to remove the basting stitches. So it just felt like this skirt portion took a long time. So when I revisit this pattern, I do want to make a couple of changes in terms of, I don't want to do a pleated skirt. I want to do a gathered skirt. I also want to lengthen the skirt. And also when I do a gathered skirt, I want to add patch pockets. So I just have this image of this dress with the gathered skirt and patch pockets and with about 2.5 extra inches, and I just think it would be the perfect dress. But other than that, I'm really, really happy with it. Again, I was making silly mistakes with this pattern. What did I do? For some reason, I was following the instructions for version A, I think, and therefore I made a mistake and stitched down the side seams of the bodice when I wasn't supposed to. So I had to rip that out, and then I had to rip it out because then I had to connect the lining at the side seams. That's how it was connected. Then also, what other mistake? Oh, when it came to inserting my invisible zipper, I don't know. Both times I put the zipper like with the coils. You know, typically the coil should face, I think, away from the, I'm trying to remember. I don't have the instructions in front of me. But I had the coils facing the wrong way. So I had to rip out one side of the zipper. Then I did the other side. And while I had the coils facing the right way, for some reason I like twisted the zipper at the bottom. And so I had to rip that out again. And then finally, on the third try, I put my invisible zipper in. And then I noticed that my waistline was not aligned perfectly. Again, it was off, which happens to me a lot with when I insert zippers. But at that point, that was the third time, and I still like the invisibility. I think I did a great job with the invisibility of the zipper. And I was like, I'm not taking it out. I'm not messing with it. I'm done. This will have to do. And with the rickrack, I don't even think that you notice that the waistline is slightly off. So I'm so happy with this dress, and I'm so actually happy with it that I plan to wear it to work tomorrow. And of course I'm going to wear it again with my niece later on in this week so we can get pictures together, or maybe we'll go somewhere and do something fun together and we can wear the dresses then. So that is Simplicity 1873, and I haven't worn the dress yet, but I'll try to get a picture of myself wearing the dress and I will insert it here. Okay, and so that is it for the finished projects. I can't believe I had 3 sewing projects and a finished knit project. So I'm really, really happy with the progress so far. Okay, I'm going to take a brief break, get a glass of water, and then I'll come back and talk about the current projects, and then maybe we'll discuss the archive treasure and some general chatter. Okay. Also, before I begin talking about my current projects, I do want to mention, I always forget to mention the sizes that I made for the garments. And so for the New Looks 6446 and also for the Simplicity 1873 patterns, I made the size 6. And I also knew I wanted to make the smallest size for the New Look because a couple of people who made that pattern before said it ran large. And so I'm so happy with the fit of it and how it turned out. Okay, so now we'll get into my current projects. In the last episode, I was talking about, I don't think I cast on the project yet. I was talking about the yarn came in, and that I will be doing some preview knitting for Andy Sutherland's upcoming pattern, which will be released in July. And that is for the Tierney cardigan. And as you can see, it's a simple stockinette cardigan with a crew neck, which is my favorite type of neckline on a cardigan. And it has a very nice detailed waistband. The waistband has a detailed stitch pattern. So how this pattern is worked up is that first you would do the waistband, and so it's just like worked into a strip, and then you'll pick up stitches from the waistband and do the stockinette portion of the cardigan. And so I did not get gauged with the size 5. It's funny because at first I was so tempted to just go with the size 5 needle, since I was using the exact same yarn that she suggested. And the yarn is Elsbeth Legold Designer's Choice in Hempathy. And it's a cotton hemp and I think rayon blend. And so since I was using the yarn that the designer used, I figured, oh, do I really have to check my gauge? But I'm happy I did, because it was slightly large, so I had to go down a needle size, and I did get my gauge with size 4. And I wasn't sure about this yarn because I never worked with hemp yarn, hemp cotton or rayon blend yarn, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, and I wasn't sure how it was going to feel knitting with it. I wasn't sure if it was going to feel like hard or tough. I just wasn't sure what to expect. But it's been knitting up wonderfully. It doesn't bother me in my hand, and I like it a lot. And then what made me really love it is after I did my gauge swatch, I blocked it and I just soaked it in what is it? I always forget the name of it, but the Kristen Amdahl blocking solution. And I soaked it, and oh my goodness, look at that drape and how even the stitches are. So I'm really, really, really happy with how the gauge swatch turned out. So, and I cannot wait until I have this finished cardigan, because I just think it's going to just feel and look really nice. So this morning I finally finished my waistband. Yay! And I promise you that this feels just like such an accomplishment, because I know that this is the most detailed portion, or the most time consuming portion of this creating this cardigan. So I was just anxious to get it done, because I just wanted to get to the stockinette portion so I could really enjoy some mindless knitting in front of the TV. And I did watch TV while creating the waistband, but I did have to make sure I paid attention. The good thing about this stitch pattern is that at first I just couldn't get into the rhythm of it, and so I was just like, oh, it felt finicky to me at first. But then as I kept going at it, I got the rhythm, and it just came to me. And then I also began to recognize the stitches. It became very intuitive. And then on top of that, it is very easy to memorize. It's a 4-row stitch pattern. And then before I knew it, I didn't even realize I memorized the pattern. And so I just put the instructions to the side, and I was able to I started watching this new show on Amazon Prime, Endeavor, and I've really been enjoying it. I love mysteries, and so I was watching that, and I didn't have to refer to the instructions at all, and so that worked out. Everything went along perfectly. However, I think I did mess up one row, and I went back to correct it, but I think when I corrected it, I twisted the stitches, and I noticed this when I came near the end of my waistband. I'm trying to find the mistake, and maybe it's a good thing that I don't really notice it, and I don't think that you would notice it either on camera. Okay, I cannot find it. Okay, here it is. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, there's this row. I don't know. It's right here, where the stitches are definitely twisted. They're thrown off a bit. But by that point, as I stated, I was near the end of my waistband, and I was just like, oh no, I'm not going to do that again. And it's really hard to notice that mistake. And then I noticed another mistake where I forgot to, what is it? When you, in the stitch pattern, you have to kind of like wrap the yarn around your stitches. And there's this point where I forgot to wrap the yarn. And it was at this point, so you can see this, I could mark my mistake. And I had about this much left of the waistband. So all I did was I just got some scrap yarn, and I just faked the wrap. And so I just got a tapestry needle and wrapped it around the stitches, and it looks perfect. Like, you can't even tell. And so that was my solution to that little stitch that wasn't wrapped. So my waistband is not perfect, but it still looks really, really nice. And I'm so excited about moving on to the body portion of this cardigan. And that's all I have to say about it so far. And I just cannot wait to continue to update you all on the progress of it. And also to share with you this finished project. And I have a goal to finish it really soon. It would be perfect if I could finish it within the next couple of weeks or even sooner. And so I wrote out a schedule. Since I'll be going home on Wednesday and I'll be returning on Sunday, I'm going to only take this project home with me, and I don't do any sewing when I go home. And so I'm just planning to just knit on this throughout my time at home. And so I hope to make significant progress with it. And the yarn feels really nicely, even though I haven't even blocked this yet, but I really like it. So that's it for the Tyranny cardigan. It's going along wonderfully. I have another knitting project on the needles. Oh, and the color of that yarn is dark turquoise. And my other knitting project is for the outfit along, and that is the Blaster cardigan by Andy Sutherland. I've had this in my queue for a few years, and also I have it on my Make 9 list. So I figured with the outfit along, why not like knock out two things at the same time? So the New Look 6446 was also on my Make 9 list, and also the Blaster cardigan. So I'm getting these done and achieving my goals for the Make 9. So I mentioned that I had to go down 2 needle sizes to get gauged, because I am using I'm not using a DK weight yarn. I'm using a worsted weight yarn, and this is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and the color is Conch. And so far I've just done a little bit of the back, as you can see. And there's that little eyelet pattern starting to emerge. And I'm really enjoying this so far, and I just am drawn to this color. It's like the perfect coral color, and it goes perfectly with the romper, and also with my I think I shared it with you, some Rifle Paper Company fabric for a shirt dress that I'm making. So that's it. I've just done a little bit of the upper back, as you can see. Not much progress, but I'm still feeling pretty confident that I will finish this cardigan by July 31st. That is when the outfit along ends, and so I think that it will be done, especially if I finish the Tyranny cardigan. Is getting progress, priority, and then once I finish that, then I can give the Blaster cardigan my attention and try to finish it before the outfit along ends. Okay, I have one more current project to share with you. It's a sewing project, and I really haven't sewn much on it. I've just cut out all of the pattern pieces. And this was a kind of unexpected project because, let me see. Well, I don't have Macaws. I wanted to make Macaws, the Macaws pattern 6696 pattern so badly. I still want to make it. Like, this pattern has been like haunting me because I've just seen so many gorgeous versions of it on Instagram. And I noticed that when people create this pattern, they make like a million versions. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but they will like continue to revisit this pattern. And then there are quite a few sewers out there who made this pattern like 8 to 10 to 14 times. I mean, I'm not even kidding how many times they made this pattern, and it just looks good in like almost every single print. and that is Macaws 6696. And I wanted so badly to make my first Macaws 6696 with my Rifle Paper Company fabric. And I think I shared this in a previous episode. Okay, I just dropped a piece. I think that this fabric was the first fabric that I saw from Rifle Paper Company. I saw someone create a dress from it, and I was immediately drawn to it. And from then on, my love for Rifle Paper Company, it just grew, like, with the entire company and their floral prints and their designs and their tropical leaf print. And so I just love all of their designs. But this was the first fabric that I bought from them. And I only purchased 3 yards of it. And the fabric is 45 inches in length. And the Macaws 6696 pattern, it called for 3 1/4 yards to create the pattern. But I figured maybe if I could kind of place the pattern pieces in a different sort of way, or maybe use a different type of fabric for the pockets. And I was trying to do that, but I still did not have enough. So yesterday on Saturday morning, like the first couple of hours of my day, I was trying so hard to like squeeze out enough of this fabric to make Macaws 6696. But it just was not having it. I just did not have enough fabric. And so I just gave up on making Macaws 6696 with this fabric. But I still wanted to make a shirt dress with it. And I knew that I still had this shirt dress pattern in my pattern stash. And so that is Macaws 7314. And this pattern, it did not require as much yardage. So I decided to make version B because I like the sleeves and I like the collar, and it still has the buttons. And so yesterday, after those first couple of hours of struggling to squeeze out the fabric, I finally reconciled myself to make Macaws 7314, and I cut out all of the pattern pieces for that. And for some reason, I did not enjoy the process of cutting. I never really enjoy the process of cutting, but it's something that I do. But yesterday, I just felt like I just wasn't in the mood for it at all. And so I was just so happy when it was done. Like, I didn't even want to look at the fabric. I didn't want to sew or anything. And so I just cut out the fabric and all of the interfacing, and I was happy that that was done. And then I figured that I would start sewing on the project today. Okay, I was just picking up a piece that fell. But yeah, I wanted to sew a little bit on the project tonight. Honestly, right now I'm not in the mood to sew. But hopefully I'll get maybe just a little bit done. So that is Macaws 7314. I'm making the size, yes, I'm making the size 6. And this time I did check the length of the garment, and I saw that the finished length from the base of my neck would be 34.5 inches. And I was like, oh, that's just, I didn't like how short that would be. And so I had enough extra fabric, and so I added 3 inches to the hem. And so to make it, so I want to have a finished length of 37.5 inches. And so that's the only modification I think that I'll be making towards this pattern. And that is it. And so we'll see how it goes. A few people created this pattern on Instagram, not many. And so I'm still not sure how this will turn out. So we shall see. And I will be sharing with you that finished project sometime in the future. So I'm just hoping that it all goes well. And I wanted to share the buttons. Yes. And these are the buttons. I'm not sure if I shared that in the previous episode. I may have. Yes, but those are the buttons. And this shirt dress only has 4 buttons. No, 5 buttons. And that's on the bodice portion. But Macaws 6696, it has buttons going all the way down. And so, yeah, I just want to make that pattern so badly. Okay, that is it for the current projects. And now I'll talk very briefly about the archive treasure today, because this is maybe the second or third time this cardigan has appeared on the channel, and it's nothing new, but it's actually, I'm wearing my outfit from last year's outfit along. I realized that when I put together my outfit this morning for church, I just was like, oh, this is the outfit that I made for last year's outfit along, and I'll be wearing it in today's podcast. So that kind of worked out because I was talking about my plans for this year's outfit along. And so this is the Anaheim cardigan by Andy Satterlin, and it's a simple wrap cardigan. And I think the first time that I made it, I had the button going on the inside. I thought that it was supposed to go like button on the inside and then on the outside. But then when I was reading the blog post by Andy, I realized the button should go on the outside. So I took that button from the inside and placed it on the outside. And that gives you the option to wrap it maybe this way or that way. And so today I wrapped it this way. Typically, I would wrap it that way. Okay, I know it probably doesn't matter, but I just switch it up. So Andy suggested so you don't put too much, wear to one side or the other side. And so I just will alternate that. The dress is Simplicity 1803. I do not remember the size I made. Maybe the size 6. I can't remember. And the fabric is from a past co-worker when I worked at Tuskegee University, and she is from Africa, and I believe that she's from Ghana, but the fabric came from her country, and so yeah, and I like this combination a lot. And for some reason I don't wear this dress enough, but then when I do wear it, I'm always really happy in it, and I really like it, so I should wear it more often. So those are the archive treasures for today. It's nothing new to you, but hey, maybe it might be new to someone who's viewing this podcast for the first time. So I just wanted to share that briefly with you all. And this is a quite enjoyable pattern from what I can remember, and I really like it. My only thing is that it looks really cute and stylish, but in terms of keeping me warm in air-conditioned buildings, it doesn't really do the job, because when I was at church today, I think I mentioned previously that it's super cold at church. I felt like all of this, the air was just beating on my chest, and I was so uncomfortable. And so I was just wishing I would have remembered to bring maybe a crew neck cardigan, because all of my chest would have been covered up and I wouldn't have been so uncomfortable. But style-wise, I think it's perfect. And then I also like wearing it a lot with my high neck dresses, because then I don't have to worry about the air beating on my chest. But the look of a V-neck dress with the kind of V-neck cardigan, I really like the look quite a bit. But in terms of practicality for my cold nature, it's not always the best option. So that's the archive treasures. Finally, I wanted to end with a little bit of general chatter. So as I mentioned, I still want to make Macaws 6696. I really hate that I don't have the pattern in front of me. I will be right back. I'm going to get the pattern just so I can talk a bit about it, and then I'll be back to talk about the general chatter. Okay, so Macaws 6696, the pattern that is haunting me, because I want to make it so badly. And it's every time I try to make it, as you can see, my plans fell through from this previous weekend, and I had to go with another pattern. And I guess I could have chosen some fabric from my stash and still made the pattern, because I have a lot of fabric in cuts of 4 yards, and I would have had enough, but I just really wanted to use my the first Rifle Paper Company fabric that I bought, and then I also think it will match perfectly with my blaster cardigan, so I just wanted to use that floral fabric that had those coral flowers on it. But my plans for Macaws 6696 has not ended. I received a couple of cautions when it comes to this pattern. Some people don't like the back. It has gathers in the back. Let me see if I could find a line drawing. Let's see. So this is the line drawing. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So it has little gathers in the back, and it also features pleats, and it has a collar. obviously, because it's a shirt dress. And some people don't like the gathers. They say that it provides too much bulk and room in the back. But I like the gathers quite a lot on the line drawings. And then I've looked at a lot of the versions on Instagram. So many people made this pattern. And the back of their garment looks so lovely with the gathers and then those pleats and the back skirt. And I know I just said I didn't like creating pleats, but I promise you the pleats in this shirt dress are just beautiful. And so I definitely want to add those pleats. And so I think that what I will do, because I received a caution in my Insta stories from one of my followers saying that, you know, the like collar issue and the gathers may be a problem. So what I'm going to do is I know I should do a muslin. Like, that would be the smart thing, but no. What I'm going to do is make the pattern in a very inexpensive fabric that I have, which is this. I purchased this entire bolt, as you can see. Well, it's not the entire bolt, but it was $1 per yard from Walmart last summer. And I think it's about 7 yards or maybe more than 7 yards. And so I figured what I would do is first create the pattern using this inexpensive fabric before I cut into my nicer fabric. And then I would evaluate how the fit of it was, and I'll play with some modifications options and things like that. But I just want to create this so badly. And I think that this is a nice little, I know that I would like wearing this floral. I mean, it has a black background, which is perfect to transition into the fall and winter. And it has red flowers. And so, yeah, I want to do that. And I want to purchase some red buttons. So my first Macaws 6696 will be with this fabric. And I'll be testing out the fit and playing with it with that fabric, since the fabric is not as special to me. Then once I work all of that out, I will then cut into, I have some more Rifle Paper Company, and I want to make the Macaws 6696 with this fabric. Oh my goodness, I love this fabric so much. And so because I like it so much, it would be smart not to cut into it first, considering that I may have some fit issues. And so we'll see, and then I'll make this pattern. I'm just hoping that this will be the pattern of my dreams, like it has been for so many others out there. I'm hoping that I will create that once I work out how I like the pattern, or work it out into the way that I like, that I will make at least 4 versions of this shirt dress, because it just looks so nice. And a lot of people wear the combination of this pattern with their Chuck sweater. And the Chuck sweater is a design by Andy Satterlin, and I've created, I have a pink Chuck sweater in my closet right now, and I have plans to create another one. Of course, I want to make another one in green, of course, like a Kelly green, one day. But I'm also making another pullover pattern by Andy, which is on my Make 9 list, the Tessellate, I don't know, I think that's how you pronounce it, pullover sweater, and it has a crew neck and it's long sleeve, and I just love that. And so I just think that that sweater, also the Chuck sweater, and also my crew neck cardigans, I just think it's going to look so lovely with this pattern, because I'll have that collar peeping out. And then I like the skirt that has, and the skirt is a lovely length. I think that is let's see, well, I don't know, I thought that I saw a length of 37.5, but I think it's going to be a very nice length, and I just think it's going to transition well throughout the year. So cannot wait to make this pattern. So after I come back from my trip home, then I'll first test out the pattern with my cheaper yarn, and then I'll do it with my more expensive yarn. Not yarn, fabric. Well, that is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I enjoyed sharing all of my makes and my plans for the future with you all. I hope you all have a great Sunday and also a happy 4th of July. Bye-bye.